Hello out there in YouTube land. Thank you for joining me as I'm going to share with you today a short little haul video. This is mostly eBay buys, as well as there is a couple of good keys, some older books as well in here. So I'm happy to share that with you guys. And a little bit different at the end of the haul video, since it's not going to go too long. I'm going to touch on a subject, just share my thoughts and views on what people, some people are predicting regarding, comparison to the 90s comic crash. So all that and more, stay tuned after this short intro. Be right back. Okay, and we are back. Comic Sniper here, along with my little buddy Mark III, my little flying Iron Man. He's just busy spinning away there. Gonna bring you another haul video, just a short one. A few books that I picked up from eBay here and there. There is a couple of nice key books at the end. I'll show you those, and as well my views on people's prediction as to what the comic situation is today and comparing it to the 90s. So stay tuned for all that as well. Okay, so right on, let's get right to it. That's what you came here to see, is comic books. So I will start with the Amazing Spider-Man 796. This is my second copy of this. I'm not sure where all this is going as far as reveals and Red Goblin and all that kind of stuff. 797, I believe, is coming out already, or has already come out. I don't have it yet, but it's supposed to be. I'm not sure. I haven't really read it yet, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure if it's kind of made up hype. Maybe people are just kind of wanting something to happen with Spider-Man. Is kind of ready for a new challenge or new key, something they can kind of sink their teeth into with regards to Spider-Man. So especially with the new hype of Venom movie coming, who knows? But again, just nothing big. It's an okay copy. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to send this in. I don't think it's a 90 potential. But I just thought I'd pick that up. Didn't pay a lot for it anyways. So that's the first one. And then I also picked up a man called Nova #1. Now this book was in my prediction as well. And you know what? Even though, with the Nova Corps, with the Guardians of the Galaxy appearance, there's really been nothing that suggests that he's gonna actually be in the movie. It's just all been our wanting him to be in the movie. This is his first appearance, writer, and then an origin as well. So it's been gaining ground. It's been steadily going up. So whenever I see an okay, decent copy, I'm still waiting for like a 9.8 potential. I don't think this is one of them. But if I do come across one and I can pick it up for cheap, I will definitely add it to my collection. And then I'm not sure if this one is worthy of that or even worthy of being graded. But I thought, for the price I picked up, it was definitely worth at least having. There's I can see a bit of a smudge there, as you can see, and I don't know if you can see that. A couple of spine ticks. They do break color. That's why I'm not that impressed with this copy. But who knows? If something does happen with Nova in the future, and this book is, like I said, has already been gaining ground. Even the mid-grade copies will also pick up. So that is added to my private collection. And this is the next one. Is just a very fun. All about the cover. This is Psylocke #1. This is her mini series 1 of 4. I mean, this is a fantastic cover by David Finch. This comic has been quite sought after. I noticed by collectors. There's not a lot of them on the market. You know, they don't drop a lot of them in the market. So, but when they do go in, it's you know, people are asking a okay amount of money for them, and they're pretty much getting it. So, yeah, it's not a huge key by any means, as far as I know. But if you know anything different, I'm welcome to leave it in the comment and educate us. So this is my Psylocke #1, and then the next book I picked up. This has been around for quite a while. Batman: The Killing Joke, first print. As you can see by the green, this has a lot of prints in it. And this one, I'm afraid to say, is not a candidate for like a super high grade. It's not like it's not terrible, but it does have some issues. Most of it down here, you can see it's got a little bit of blunting. You know, be hard to press. Not well, can't really press that out. Not much you can do with that. There is a couple of other creases on this book. So, but you know, the great story. I like the animated movie too, so that was always fun. But you know, this has a little bit of value. Didn't pay a lot for it. That's why I just picked it up. I knew it wasn't going to be a 9.8 candidate as well, or even a 9.4 for that matter. I don't think. So I'm not really looking to flip this. I've done a lot of flipping of this book already. I bought them in very high grade. I've already had some come back as a 9.8 and sold it. So this one, I'll probably just keep this one just for my own, because it's, you know, I don't really need to keep a 9.8 in my arsenal. But still happy to have this one, so I'm gonna put that away. And a couple of books left. Like I said, we don't have a ton of books in this haul, but this one I'm always happy to have. This is my second copy of Marvel Superheroes #13. Very significant book. This is the first appearance of Carol Danvers. Okay, this is before she becomes Miss Marvel, before she becomes Binary, before she becomes Captain Marvel. Again, with the movie coming, this comic book has gained a lot of traction, and it's this one, you know, I don't mind picking up lower grades, and this one is certainly in the lower category. It is complete. It does have issue with the spine. That's usually, these square bound books usually take quite a beating on the spine. As you can see, there's no missing pages though, but there is a lot of color breaking creases and so forth. But overall, still presents well. Probably could use a bit of a dry cleaning just so. And with that, you know, we'll see how it goes. Even in lower grade, this goes for a bit of money. And whenever I can grab one of these, like I said, I haven't been able to find many. This is only my second one that I've been able to find in relatively good price. I think it was just mostly my timing, more than anything, that allowed me to get this book, as well as my first one. So again, I might move one of them, whichever one I decide to keep, but we'll see. Probably more closer to the movie. There's not even a trailer yet, so can't wait to see what happens with that. I'm looking forward to the movie. So that's my Marvel Superheroes #13. And for the last one, this is, been hunting for this for quite a while. This is my well, now it is my Avengers #9. Check that out. This is the first appearance of Wonder Man. You know, he's a pretty good character. You know, I think he's got a lot of potential to show up one day in the MCU. And you know, this book has commanded quite a bit of dollars. So especially in the mid to higher grade, it's almost out of reach for a lot of people. That's why, and this is not super high grade by any means. The only real issue is right there, the top. There's marble chipping going on, as you know, especially these Silver Age books. They're very susceptible to that. But aside from that, the rest of the book has been, it's complete. Staples are all intact. You know, there's only a few staple creases and marks. So all the flaw is really along the top with the marble chipping. But aside from that, and the back has been pretty clean. So, you know, presents really well, and it is quite a big key. So I'm happy to have that. All right, and then yeah, that's so that's my Avengers number 9, and that is going to be my haul. So I do want to touch, just kind of share my opinion. People have been saying, you know, everybody collecting comic books nowadays, and this is, I wouldn't say predominantly, but I'm hearing more of this kind of for lack of a better word, whining from the older collectors who, you know, I've been there, you know, when the 90s comic book crash happened, and this is the same thing all over again, and you know, people are buying up comic books, and the value of them are overblown, and then it's gonna crash soon, and you know, the naysayers are all saying that. I'm also hearing some of that from newer collectors as well. You know, kind of comparing it to what happened before. I've been in and out of the hobby, the comic book collecting hobby, for many years as well. I was the last time I got out was before the actual crash, before the 90s, before I picked it up again. But I mean, let's look at it. You know, let's take a look at what happened before and maybe make a comparison. So in the 90s, what happened was it was a speculation boom. Basically, you know, it was a lot of people got in thinking they were going to get rich quick, right? You know, they were going to fund their kids' retirement or their kids' college fund and their own retirement with comic books, because you know, some of the older, you know, some of the collections that have been found, they started going for quite a bit, and they were being sold, and people started seeing that there was actual value in the comic books that we grew up with as kids. So, you know, people started wondering, hey, why don't I cash in on this? So that's what happened. So there was a speculation boom. So, you know, that was the reason for the frenzy. So people were picking up multiple copies of number ones whenever they came out. As you know, all the new books, they were speculating on a lot of it, so people were just picking it up. Older collectors mainly, right? People who have been in the hobby, and then as well as newer people who just decided, hey, I'm going to get in just to make money. So because they found out the books themselves could be valuable, and then so the industry really took advantage of that. What they did was they catered to that. Of course, they're there to make money, right? They're through making these characters in comic books. That's, you know, they're a business. If they don't make money, let's face it, it's all about economics. If they don't make any money, they're not going to be in business, and of course, we wouldn't have the comic books we enjoy today. So, you know, don't blame them. They're only really, I believe, you know, they're there to do what they were supposed to do, which is take advantage of any situation that could come up, because at the end of the day, remember, Marvel almost went belly up. So whenever you can, you know, you try to take advantage of the good times, and then you can put it away for the bad times, and that's what most businesses typically do. So the industry really tried to take advantage of it. You know, they did large print runs. They catered to the masses of people who were, you know, storing away, buying multiples and multiples. So they printed large volumes of basically comics that was, you know, it was not going to do anything at the time, right? So, and it was very unsustainable. The expectation, there was no way to keep the demand up. Nobody was buying them after, you know, people decided, hey, maybe I've got enough of these comic books, maybe it's time to sell it. So they started testing the market, and this is the same thing that goes on in the the stock market. That's how you get ups and downs in the stock market, because people, it's all about supply and demand. Once people start to sell off, prices go down. Once people are buying, price drives up. It's because of demand, right? So people started testing to see if, hey, maybe I can sell my comic books for what they're supposed to be worth more than I bought them for. And what they found was people weren't really willing to pay the prices they thought they could be getting from them. So they started selling them off at ridiculously low prices. So because it was unsustainable, to the fact that there was not enough new readership really coming in. You got to remember, this is the time of video games really taking on the market, movies and TVs and things like that. The entertainment world started getting faster. The internet started coming in, so there was a lot of competition for the comic book community, the comic book world, for new readership, new people to come in and enjoy the hobby. So that's why there wasn't enough sustainable for that. So that's why the books that people were deciding, hey, I'm going to pick up 10, 20, 30, whatever they stocked up, they couldn't sell it because there was nobody new interested in buying it. So that's what that's really, and of course the general public, right, was not ready. They were not ready to bring the comic book community, the comic book characters to the general public as an acceptance, and that's why I believe it was very sustainable. So let's look at it today. That's why it crashed, and really that it had to crash, because there's no way people were going to keep doing that. So that's why eventually a lot of that just ended up in a dump, and people just selling it literally pennies to, they weren't, like people said, they weren't worth the paper they were printed on, and that was really, really true at that time. So today we have another boom. Let's face it. Of course, you see by the amount of YouTube videos, the social media out there, the books that we love, they're gaining in value again, right? And people are now, as we said earlier, are comparing this time to the 90s and saying, oh, it's going to happen again. Here it is, the boom, and then all of a sudden people are going to try to get rid of it all, and it's not going to be worth again the paper they're printed on, and everybody's going to be left with their pants down. That's what they're saying. So, but if you look at it, what's the difference today? If it was exactly the same as the 90s and there was no new readership, there's no new interest and so forth, I would agree. I would hands down say, yep, we're back to that again, and you're doomed to repeat it. But is there a difference? Basically, the prices for the key books are rising, and basically the ones that have been in demand before, they're still in demand today. So that's why, but they're now gaining even higher values. They're also, the naysayers today, they're saying, hey, it's gonna all be the same. So what if the difference today is nothing compared to last time, then it would definitely go that way. But and it could be they're right. They might be right. Let's take a look though. If there's I believe that there is a difference. The main difference today is the influx of movies and TVs and new cartoons that has gone into the market, that has put our beloved characters front and center. Okay, it like nothing like ever before. Okay, the technology has finally caught up to make superheroes a reality. I mean, just look at Spiderman, Iron Man, that kind of stuff. Those kind of things could not. When Christopher Reeve finally flew, and people started believing that man can fly. That's what they're saying. It was great, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't sustainable enough, because it was only it came back, but it wasn't nearly enough as today. Today we're getting how many movies a year? How many TV shows are actually catering to the superhero genre? and of course with everything that goes along with that. And there's more acceptance of the public. The general public wanna go see these excellent movies. They wanna see these fantastic new characters. They're fantasy genre, future fantasy genres and stuff that are going on, and they're liking it. It looks believable on screen. It looks great on TV. Great storylines. You can say what you want about certain movies, how they bombed. But for the most part now, it's actually, people are loving it, and you can see by the box office reviews, and the box office, the movie makers, they're not going to make these movies if it's not profitable. So definitely there is that. So now the general public is accepting it. There's more interest from new fans, right? There's fans of the genre now. Basically they said the meek will inherit the earth. Well, the geeks are inheriting the earth now, right? So we are coming out in force. I mean, just look at Comic-Cons. Need I say more, right? I mean, look at how many people are, not just the geeks, but generally people everywhere. New babies and kids are dressing up and as their favorite characters, and which means they actually have favorite characters, and they're enjoying what we loved growing up. New readers, new fans of the genre are coming up, and that's what's sustaining this hobby. Okay, and that's adding fuel to the fire, and that has more people. And of course, with that, the value of these people are seeking out the key books. People are seeking out the characters that they see on screen, and they want to be part of it. Hence, things like action figures. The value of them just keeps going up, and people keep buying them. Why? Because there's a demand. Remember, this is all economics. This is supply and demand. The demand is there, and as long as the genre keeps going, the movies, TVs, and so forth keep going and keep sustaining it, it can't really go down, because there's more demand, and that's what's going to keep driving this thing. Okay. So the spark from old collectors that, like myself, let's face it, when 10 years ago, Iron Man came into the scene, it was like, hey, I love that. I used to collect that. Maybe I should get back into it again. And that's what, and a lot of older collectors, they did get back in, and now they're also re-enjoying the collecting world again. And let's face it, with that, not just kids, not just old collectors, women are also joining the fore, right? And they're also there's more women now that are into the cosplay, which is great. That's all another whole can of worms. That as far as the cosplaying, how they're doing it. But you know what? It's another part, good or bad, we'll take it, right? It's just more exposure for us in the hobby. So. So basically, well, the other things we're saying is, I've heard is, the comic book movies, they're gonna go the way of the cowboy movies. How that used to be so popular, and now it's dead, and you can't even, there's no more people making cowboy movies. So in the near future, it's gonna be overdone, and there's not gonna be any more superhero movies. I beg to differ. Compare it to horror movies. Okay, horror movies have been around ever since movies was started, and have they died out? I don't think so. They're still making horror movies, and they're still making good and bad ones. So in essence, our genre is fantasy and future, and as far as I can tell, fantasy and future in the movies and TV have been and always will be part of what people want to see in movies as well. There's comedies and drama and that kind of stuff. So because cowboy dealt with, at the time, the present, when they were started being shot, and then as we move forward in the future, they became the past. So they were kind of left behind. We are dealing here with more of the today to the future. So when you're dealing with the future, we really can't leave it behind, because it's always ahead, right? And that's why I believe that's the difference between, you know, cowboy genre, how they died, and our superhero fantasy future genre is doing. Okay. What else? That's why I believe it'll live on. So unless people, you know, lose their imagination and lose interest in that, I really can't see that dying. So you know, again, I might be wrong. I'll always concede that, and definitely it might not be your opinion. And you know, I'd love to hear the discussion. Everybody has their own opinion. Definitely, this is just mine. I don't you know, confess to be, hey, the all-knowing or anything like that, or you know, because I could be right. But this is just my opinion, and hopefully, you know, if you have a difference, I'd love to hear it. We can have a great discussion. That's the wonderful thing about this hobby. And I think as well, with regards to the hype, the trend, the value will keep rising on some of these because there is new people that want, you know, and they do have the disposable income now to spend on it. So that's why it's not the same as the 90s. And the 90s could not sustain itself because there was no demand, and that's what crashed it. Today, the fans and everything is sustaining that. And there's also one more thing, and this is kind of worries me, and this is for another topic for another day, is variants. Okay, variants might be worrisome because it seems to me that it's kind of artificial, and it seems very unsustainable. But we'll have another discussion for that for another day. But it's not enough to you know, dislodge this and make it crash, this what we have today. So I mean, don't get me wrong, just like I know what economy is like. Okay, it has to go up, has to go down, and when you have a correction, things like you know, prices going down, that means that's when the time to buy, guys. Okay, it's not when the hype is up and it's fully, you know, everybody's looking for it, because that's demand means the prices go up. You think of it as being on sale. Okay, because if you're gonna buy, you know, a pair of pants, are you looking to buy it at full price or on sale? Okay, when the correction is happening, that means the value of the comics that you're looking for has gone down, and you need to, you know, have a little bit of faith in what's going to happen. So therefore you pick it up when it's on sale, and then when the value comes back up, you profit from it. That's how you know, it's called buy low, sell high. Okay, this is just simple economics, but a lot of people really, they get caught by the hype and the emotions, and that's what kind of does them in, and you know, they kind of lose out in that regard. So so the smart ones of the 90s, remember, you gotta, when all that crashed, not everybody got out. So a lot of the, you know, the diehard collectors, they took advantage of it, and they took in what people were selling for next to nothing. Okay, and then they put it away. So what happens was now, okay, the years later, when of course the hype is back and the comic community is back up, they're now reaping their rewards. So who's laughing now, right? Who has the last laugh now? So now, you know, you think they'd be, you know, everybody was laughing at the time. You think they're happy or sad now, right? So for the market, like the collectors are good for those who recognize them, right? Who recognize the opportunity. It's called an opportunity. So the books that we wouldn't be able to afford before, now they're, you know, they can be discounted because if the market does go down, that's why you don't buy. Try not to buy books at the top of the hype when everybody really wants it, right? You know, sometimes people will kind of lose interest because there's another new thing to look at. So that's when to buy it. I guess the lesson here is, you know, don't follow the masses. Okay, try to go against the grain. I know it's not popular, but it's the right thing, and it's the way you should. You know, you'll be able to. Maybe if you're not even to make money, at least you'll be able to pick up the books that you love and add it to your collection for a lot lower price, a lot cheaper than you would doing it when everything is on the hype. Okay, Then again, what do I know? Really, time will tell, right? Whether I'm wrong, whether the naysayers and the doomsayers are right, who knows? But anyways, I've taken up enough of your time. I only had a little bit of books to share, but again, I thank everybody for watching my videos. I'm gonna, once again, I'm giving shout outs to my newest subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. Again, I'm not just saying that. I get excited every time I get a notification that says you got a new subscriber. Right away, I want to make sure I thank as many people as I can. So for all of you who do want to have your name on the screen, all you got to do is subscribe. Join in the conversation. I encourage your opinion. I don't think anybody's opinion is dumb by any means. It's just all I ask is be respectful, right? That way we can have a good conversation. I love seeing other points of views, and sometimes your point of views, it has happened before many times, changes my point of view as well, because you have a different perspective on that. So I really appreciate that. So all you have to do is, like I said, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you doing that. Comment and hit the like button, right? So again, while you guys are watching the movies, taking advantage of the comic book community prices, all the great stuff that's going on, and out there searching high and low for all the wonderful collectibles that we all love, just make sure you enjoy the hunt. Okay guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.